Good. All right. Hi, Kerry.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I am well, thanks.
So just to let everybody know, Dr. Kerry Thuett is with Fully Fueled Fitness, and I'll kind of let you tell your story about your health and how you got here.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I've done 5 podcasts, and 3 of the podcasts, over 3 hours long, are actually on that thing you just asked me. So let's see, how
Wow.
can I condense that into about 3 minutes or so? So the short version is I used to weigh 300 pounds, and I lived at that weight for probably 15 years of my life. And I ate all the food all the time. So I also got many degrees, and I was in marching band, and I was always snow skiing and moving and doing things. So I wasn't lazy, and I wasn't stupid. And a lot of people think overweight people are both that, lazy and stupid, and that is just not the case. But I would execute very prepared weekend binges that would start on Friday afternoon, end on Sunday night. And then in between then, I ate whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, and got to 300 pounds. Would do a lot of crazy manipulation things to be able to eat a lot of food and hide it from people. So at some point, well, I did all the diets during that time. All of the diets, Slim Fast and Weight Watchers and the Dallas diet, everything, low fat, eat less, move more, the diets where you get pre-made food brought into you, the Jenny Craig's and the Zone and all the ones where people sell you supplements and send you food. Okay, so and I would lose a little weight, gain it back. And finally, when I was finished with my PhD and went to work at a toxicology firm in San Francisco, I was doing expert witness work for big companies, and they would hire me to look into whatever this toxic exposure was, determine if the symptoms that the people were complaining about actually was associated with this chemical, and then I had to give an opinion on yes or no. And something that happened is that I would be giving an expert opinion for the defense, but then the plaintiff expert, who's also an expert, would have a different opinion than I did. And so what I started to understand is, first of all, everybody's interpretation of the data is different. And then I started looking into why there was differing opinions. And sometimes it was because the research was done badly. Sometimes it was because the research was outdated, et cetera. And so at that point, I decided, okay, I am a scientist. I am a toxicologist. Food is just another chemical. And I know what chemicals do in the body. I studied it for 12 years, and I can figure out what food does in the body. And so I decided to look at the biochemistry, the neuroregulation of appetite, because I'm a neuroscientist, and figure out how I needed to eat in order to look, feel, and perform my best. And when I did that, when I started selecting the right foods, the weight started coming off. Before the weight started coming off, though, I started getting healthier. I was able to come off my thyroid medication, my antidepressant medication. All of that cleared up before I even started losing weight. So, also, the weight loss was not hard. Okay, so it was hard in that I had to change my lifestyle, and I had to do things differently, and I had to make different choices. But for the first time ever, changing that lifestyle and making those different choices was much easier. And that has to do with that neuroregulation of appetite. That has to do with how the food stimulates your brain to produce serotonin and dopamine, saying that was good, do it again. And when I cut off those signals and all the hormones regulated, control of food became a whole lot easier. So I ended up losing 165 pounds, and I have now kept that off for 8 years and am, coaching others to do similarly. So I think
That's so awesome.
sort of the story.
Yes, I love that. And I love your entire philosophy, which is kind of why I wanted to have you on, is you just understand how chemicals play a part into the body because of your background and your history and involved with science. And you've applied that into your own life and been able to change your life and change others' lives through that, which I think is so cool. And, I wanted to have you on here to say that because that's kind of the same way that our building materials affect our body too. And our environment affects our body just as much as food does. And kind of how you said, whenever you have to change your lifestyle, but then it starts to feel good. And changing your lifestyle is never an easy thing, but once you see those results, I think you'll see that it's worth it. So, a lot of like our philosophy with Element Design Build is let's change your environment to change your lifestyle and create those patterns and the habits that you want in your life to become a healthier person. So that's really,
Yeah.
I wanted you on here to kind of say those things for sure.
Let me elaborate on that a little bit with regards to environment and what that actually means. A lot of times we think of environment as, oh, what's in our drinking water or what are we breathing? And this is true, but it's bigger than that. Okay, so let me go back first and talk about food just a little bit. I had a little dog, and she almost died when she was 16 weeks old because she was, okay, let me get like TMI here. She would vomit mucus and blood and defecate mucus and blood all the time. Wow. And the vets couldn't figure out what was wrong with her. And this is back in 2003. And I was still 300 pounds. Okay. Finally, she quit eating completely because all food made her sick. And she was smart enough to know that that food was making her sick. And so she chose to eliminate it. Well, one day she asked me in her little doggy way for some pork loin. And I gave it to her. You'd always heard, don't give dogs people food. But then I realized immediately that that dog would eat pork loin, she would eat ground beef, and she would eat vegetables. And she did not get sick anymore, or very little. And so basically that's what I gave her. I gave her pure meat and pure vegetables, and she thrived. Now, okay, so this is where humans are dumb. I figured out that my dog had to eat whole real food before I figured out that I had to eat whole real food.
Right.
That is so sad, so sad.
It is.
But the other thing is, now I don't have any autoimmune disorders or any severe gluten intolerance or anything, so I didn't notice this with myself. But Zoe continued to have these very small intermittent bouts of this same symptom over the years. Finally, I realized that she was having those episodes after I would wash her blankets. And I was just washing with Tide, okay, the same thing I had always washed clothes in before. And instead, I got a product called Branch Basics. I started washing her clothes and mine and cleaning the house with the Branch Basics, and she 100% got well.
Wow.
I never had another incident after I changed what I was washing her clothes with. So that was another thing. Now, I couldn't see that in myself because I wasn't noticing an adverse effect. But since I learned that lesson with my dog, I started to understand even more so the relevance to making sure that what your living environment is optimally clean and optimally healthy. And I have implemented that with many of my people with autoimmune disorders like Hashimoto's thyroiditis, lupus, MS, and cleaning up their homes and what they're using as their cleaning product has made a positive difference in them.
That's
So
awesome.
that's one aspect to environment. And then let me add
Yeah.
another piece of environment. You have to get the crap out of your kitchen.
Yes.
Okay.
Teflon, go.
People think that they can allow chips to come into their house so their kids can eat it,
Right.
or mac and cheese so their kids
Right.
can eat it, or go ahead and bring in something that their spouse enjoys, or
Yes.
they're gonna go ahead and keep making cookies for the church potluck,
Right.
and it's okay, they'll come home, but my family's gonna eat them, I won't. And that is not true. You
No,
have to get rid of that crap out of your kitchen,
you do.
and do not lie to yourself.
Right.
And so that's another way to manipulate your environment.
It
You know,
is for
prepare
sure.
your food ahead of time. Get it
Mhm.
in the refrigerator, get it in the freezer, get
Yeah.
rid of everything. And I am an extreme case. Okay. So, but I want you to understand what cleaning up your kitchen means. For me, I cannot leave even flour or sugar
Mhm.
or cornstarch or any of those
Wow.
baking goods. I
Mhm.
can't leave those in my pantry either. If I want to make
Wow.
something special, I have to go get it, make it, and then get rid of that stuff. I don't eat flour straight out of the container, but if I have flour and butter in the house together, I
Mhm.
guarantee you it'll get made into raw dough.
Yes. Exactly.
You know, I'm an
Yep.
extreme case, and you
Right.
understand that, but you have to understand what your triggers are. And you
Yes.
have to understand also that your triggers can come and go. So,
Right.
for example, I eat grass-fed butter and grass-fed heavy cream and
Mhm.
grass-fed full-fat plain yogurt. There is nothing wrong with those foods. They're whole, real
Mhm.
foods. They're optimally nutritious.
Right.
But every once in a while, I'll have that heavy cream that I usually put 2 tablespoons of in my coffee in the morning.
Mhm.
And one evening, I'll come home from work and that bottle of heavy cream goes
Oh.
in my mouth. I'll drink it
Oh
straight.
no.
And I go, okay, so your heavy cream just became a trigger for you.
Yes.
Why? I don't know. That I haven't figured out. I haven't figured out why something will go in and out as a trigger. But once it
Yeah.
does, it goes. It's out of my house. It
Yeah.
may be out of my house for a month. It may be out of my house for 6 months.
Right.
And then I'll try it again, see if I can control it. If I can, great.
Mhm. I
But
think it'd be
yeah,
interesting to figure out how and why we do that, because you could be on a healthy kick and eating really well for a long time, and then suddenly it's like, oh, I need, heavy cream or I need sugar and for some reason our body's just like, I need this and there's no way to really control it. So that'd be interesting to learn more about that.
yeah, some of it has to do with deprivation. But
Mhm.
in the case of something that I have in the house and that I'm consuming regularly, I'm not depriving myself of it, and it'll still
Right.
become a trigger, and I have to pull it out for a while. Other types of things where you go off plan or off the
Mhm.
wagon, whatever we want to call it, is because you've deprived yourself too long.
Yeah.
And I work with my clients a lot on that. We figure out when they are feeling deprived, why they're feeling deprived, and we figure out if what they're wanting is something that we can bring uh, in a controlled manner and actually have it help them with their goals. So
Mhm.
let's take carbohydrates, for example. This ketogenic thing is making me mad because it's now a buzz term. It's now something that people are making mass money off of, and
Yeah.
hardly anybody is doing it correctly.
Yes, that's what I
So,
was gonna say. I'm like,
and
no one's
yeah,
doing it right.
yeah, people don't really understand it, and they don't
No.
understand that it is not something that ideally you do in the long term.
Right.
You do it for 6 days, come
Mhm.
off a day, 6 days, come off a day, or
Yep.
you do it for the first part of the day and then you eat some carbs in the evening,
Mhm.
or you do it for a month and then come off for a week or two.
Yes.
And the thing is when you come off, you don't go back to eating junk, and you don't go back to eating super high carb. It's just kind of a cycling thing. Anyway, what was my point of that?
I know, I'm trying to think.
I don't know, but it was, I think it had to do with the deprivation thing. Right?
Yeah.
So people will go ketogenic, and so many of the things that are around us all the time, they are completely 100% depriving themselves of. And they don't have anybody to teach them how to bring it in, when to bring it in, and let it benefit them. Because I can use carbohydrate manipulation very, very well to get people to gain muscle and lose fat at the same time. And there's a lot of experts, and I'm going to call them experts here because it's like bro science.
Yes.
It's your bodybuilders, your inappropriately trained trainers, etc., that'll tell you, no, you got to bulk and then you got to cut, and it's not true.
Right.
So I can use carbohydrates to manipulate people's body composition pretty easily, and it's great because then there's far less food deprivation.
Right. That's so awesome. And I think, talking all of that, that's just a perfect example of how, we don't need large pantries in our homes because most of your food should be fresh. I mean, right? Don't you agree with that? Like, why does a traditional home have a large pantry and a small fridge? Why do we not have those scenarios?
Let's discuss what we mean by fresh. What I want is whole, real food.
Yes.
Okay, so I need a big freezer because frozen vegetables are fine. If you want to buy frozen vegetables, that's fresh. Okay, so freezers are important. And then I will go and buy all my ingredients, make my meals, put them into single-serve containers, and put them in the freezer. Yes, nothing sits around in my pantry except for maybe a super high-quality protein supplement, maybe a couple of containers of bone broth, but usually I'm making my own bone broth anyway, so it's in the freezer. So you need big freezer space, moderate refrigerator space, and for a pantry, that's to put your spices in, and it really needs to be very small. Your olive oil, your avocado oil, your spices, maybe some canned tunas, salmon, sardines, that sort of thing.
Exactly. I just find that so interesting. I'm just like, I feel like that's a good example of how our built environment is really not built to the way that we optimally need it for health, And I mean, health and wellness is a combination of all the things that you do in your life. I mean, don't you agree to that? And it's a balance, right?
Yeah, health and wellness. And my business is called Fully Fueled Fitness. And right now, our world believes that fitness, when you hear the word fitness, you think about exercise and that sort, but that's not true. Fitness, if you look up proper definition, fitness means the whole organism is suited to live its life in the environment it's in and thrive, not just survive, but thrive. That's what fitness is. You've heard of survival of the fittest. That doesn't mean survival of those that can run longer. It means survival of those that have a good functioning self-organism.
Right.
So wellness, health, fitness. It's about how you look, feel, and perform in your job, in your life, in your relationships, how your home fits with you, how everything fits with you.
Exactly. So I really want to get your take on this whole coronavirus thing and your thoughts. Ever since it started, I've been thinking about you, and I'm like, I wonder what is your thought process on all of this? Do you feel like our bodies are able to, can our immune systems fight this thing, or are we able to prevent it by the foods that we eat and the workouts that we do and just our overall health and wellness?
Yeah. Okay. This is a can of worms, and I will offer scientific data,
Mhm.
and I will offer educated opinion based on that data.
Mhm.
And I will also explain the way our bodies are supposed to work and the way people's bodies are actually working.
Mhm.
Okay, so for up until about 100 years ago, we had no way, well, no medical way of fighting a virus.
Mhm.
Our species is alive and well. Okay, so for the last 10,000 years, what happened when we got a virus?
Mhm.
Okay, we have these immune systems. They are developed optimally. They work brilliantly. They do what they're supposed to do. You get a virus, you get a bacteria, you get a fever, you get a cough, you do your things, you cough them up, the fever fights the virus,
Mhm.
your body is told to rest. That's why you get tired. You sleep and you sleep and you sleep and you eat well and you live, or you die.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is that survival of the fittest thing.
Mhm.
Over the time of humans, we have gotten bacterial infections and viral infections, and guess what? People died. Who died? The people that did not have the innate immunity to fight off that pathogen.
Mhm.
Who was left? The people that did have that ability. They reproduce, they carry on their genetics, and they carry on their mentoring, their teaching of the next generation of how to live and how to eat and how to move. And they teach both, environmentally how to do it, and then they also passed on their genes.
Mhm.
That's the way it works. Okay, the body knows what to do, it knows how to do it, and it does it right when we're optimally healthy.
Yes.
And even then, some people will die.
Right.
Okay, so this is the problem, though, currently. We have some psychological issues as well as some physiological issues.
Mhm.
We are eating garbage.
Yeah.
We are feeding ourselves food that is not nutrient dense.
Right.
We are not giving ourselves enough of all the enzymes and micronutrients that are necessary to have a well-functioning immune system. This is part of
Mhm.
the reason that we have so many autoimmune disorders now.
Yep.
Autoimmune disorders are because the immune system is whacked out, it's attacking itself and tearing up the body. Okay, that is an immune system not functioning well. All of these, diabetes, heart disease, the high blood pressure, and the drugs that we're taking make it even more difficult for our immune systems to function optimally.
Yeah.
Okay, that is the physiological part. The psychological part, or maybe I should say societal part,
Mhm.
is that because of vaccines, we've created a population of people that don't want to get sick. They're afraid to get sick. They have the mentality that they should never get sick. And that's actually not the case.
Mhm.
So if there's no vaccine and there's no over-the-counter formula that you can buy to make you feel better or make you well, or you can't get a shot to feel better, then everybody's freaking out.
Yeah.
And they're forgetting that the body knows how to do this,
Yes,
right?
exactly. Yep.
The body has within it what it needs to get sick, be sick,
Mhm.
fight it off, recover.
Yep.
In some people, they don't have it.
Right.
Okay, so this is now then where we step into not necessarily morals and ethics,
Mhm.
but this is a hard place to be, where we are watching a virus attack us that
Mhm.
we do not have immunity against, nor do we have a vaccine. What do?
Right.
Ideally,
We hide.
well, no,
We hide in our
ideally,
homes.
yeah, but ideally, what should happen
Mhm.
is this virus should play out as it's going to play out. You're going to have certain amount of the population die.
Mm-hmm.
They are the weakest of the
Mm-hmm.
population.
Mm-hmm.
And then at about, with the way this virus replicates, at about once 20% of the population has gotten this virus and recovered, okay, so this doesn't include the people that get it and die.
Uh-huh.
Once 20% of the population has it and they have recovered, that will provide herd immunity.
Mm-hmm.
And the virus then will either completely stop or spread very, very slowly
Okay.
throughout the rest of the population.
Interesting.
So this, so what do I think? What do I think? I'm not afraid of this.
Right. Yeah.
If I get this, I get this.
Mm-hmm.
If the way I have lived my life for the last 8 years has prepared me to get sick, fight it off, and recover, yay for me.
Yeah. That's
If-
kind of how I feel too.
Yeah, if it hasn't, and I go into, respiratory distress,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't get to move on past the virus, then that's okay too.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this is so harsh, but maybe my genetics don't need to be out there.
Right. Yeah.
Okay?
There we
That
go.
is very, so I am looking at this really, really strictly from
Yeah.
a biological standpoint. And that's
Yeah.
very different from, we care about people and them dying and so forth. So
Right.
everyone has to make their own decisions.
Right.
This is the deal though. Quit screwing around.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Everybody is now afraid of this virus.
Right.
And the reason they're truly afraid is because they don't have bodies that
Yeah.
are capable of dealing with it.
Exactly.
So you need to stop right now and assess what you have been doing with your food and with your
Mhm.
exercise and with your sleep and with your stress
Yeah.
management for your whole life, and find somebody that can help you get a handle on it and show you what to eat and show
Mhm.
you how to move and show you how to behave in a way that optimizes that immune function in your
Right.
body, optimizes your health, and does not just prevent you from dying from a virus, but improves everything about you, your
Mhm.
mental focus, your clarity, your ability to think and prosper, your inability to develop diabetes and inability to get high blood pressure. Just everything. People got to
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I couldn't agree with you anymore. And that's why I wanted you on here. I'm just like, you and I kind of have that same philosophy about life in general. And I felt the same way about this virus. Yes, will it be sad when people die and pass on? Of course, but that's not what I'm thinking about. And I'm not fearing this virus, and I don't think that I agree with you, if people have been living as optimally as they possibly can, they shouldn't fear this virus. And I see so many people living in fear right now, stay inside and don't go outside, wash your hands all the time. And I'm like, you should have enough faith in your immunity and your immune system and what you have done to your body over the past years that you feel pretty confident that you could fight it off if you get it.
Yeah.
And I hope that
Now-
this whole thing changes everybody's mindset. Not everybody, but I hope it changes a few people, into considering what are they putting into their body and what is their fitness like and all those things,
Yeah. Well, and much of the time people think, well, I'm not very overweight, or I'm not overweight at all. Everybody thinks about how much they weigh.
Mm-hmm. The aesthetics part.
Not exactly, and not understanding it is so much bigger than that.
Right.
And so then when they're trying to use a quick weight loss plan
Mm-hmm.
or a weight loss plan that isn't 100% sustainable for the rest of their lives, they don't worry about that because, oh, look, I got into my size 4 pants.
Yeah,
Or,
I'm good.
I'm good, but yet,
Yes.
no, you're not good, because I see a lot of people tank their health to weigh a certain amount. And so, we have to understand health comes first. In
Yeah.
my philosophy, I always say a healthy human carries an appropriate amount of body weight, has an appropriate amount of muscle, and is free of chronic disease. And I put it in that order because the medical system goes, oh, you have high blood pressure? Let's give a drug. Okay, so they were in that order, right? Healthy human,
Right.
body fat and muscle, chronic disease. The medical system works it from the bottom up.
Yeah.
Give a drug and you'll be healthy. No, that's not true. Okay, so it's not that we shouldn't give a drug, but it's that maybe while we give a drug temporarily to mitigate an immediate negative response, we also go back here and say why. Ask why until you cannot ask why anymore. The answer to why do I have diabetes, why do I have heart disease, why do I have high blood pressure, why do I have an autoimmune disorder, is not that I'm lacking a drug. It's that something is wrong from here.
Yes.
So let's fix what's wrong going in and then, heal that way.
And a lot of people think that chronic disease is genetic too, which is definitely not correct either. I mean,
Okay,
there is some part of that, right? But most of it's our lifestyle and what we eat.
Yeah. So what we say as toxicologists is genetics loads the gun and environment pulls the trigger. Okay. So yeah, we all are set up genetically to be a certain way. If we provide the right environment, and when I say environment, I'm talking about everything from how you're raised to how you think about yourself, to your home, to your food, everything. You provide the right environment and you optimize that genetic expression, right?
Oh, we lost audio.
Somebody was calling
There we
me.
go. Oh, how funny.
Hi, Josh. Okay. And then the reverse is true also. If you do not give the right input, the genes that make you awesome will not be fully expressed. And you give the wrong input, and the genes that make you worse can express more. So yeah, we always, I do genetic testing in my office.
Wow.
But I do it as a last resort because I am experienced enough and have enough knowledge. And if people will follow the protocols that I ask them to follow and give me feedback and let me tweak it, generally we don't have to go to genetic testing. But occasionally we will. There'll be something that's off and I can't figure out what it is. And then we just genetically test, figure it out, make the change. It's all good.
Nice.
So, yeah, genetics loads the gun, environment or the input to the body pulls the trigger on whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. So it frustrates me when somebody comes in and goes, oh, well, I'm 35 years old and I'm on the statin drug for high cholesterol because everybody in my family has high cholesterol. And I say, well, was your cholesterol high before the doctor put you on a statin? No, they put me on it as a preventative because of my family history.
Wow.
Like, shoot me now. Statin drugs tear up your muscle, tear up your heart, tear up your brain. Nobody looks, feels, and performs their best on a statin drug ever. So you have to just make sure you're not pulling the trigger. Just give the right input and the genetics optimize, and you can be the best you can be.
Exactly. Yeah. So what can people do during this time to help boost their immunity? What are some foods that are like go-to foods to help with that?
Okay, so let me just put the smack down on that. There are two things that are absolutely biologically not true. Immune boosting and detox. Okay, no such thing. As a toxicologist, we learn this on day one.
Mm-hmm.
And your liver detoxes all the time. Okay. There is no such thing as being able to do an overnight detox, a week detox, a month detox. That is just like that word keto. They've hijacked it and they've used it to make money. This immune boosting thing is the same way. You cannot, your immune system is going to function how your immune system is going to function today.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot take a bunch of supplements or eat very specific foods and change the function of my immune system in this moment.
Okay.
It doesn't work that way, okay?
Mm-hmm.
There are things that are used by the immune system to function optimally, but they have to be a constant input.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So this is where I was saying people need to stop right now. They need to assess what they've been doing and start making good decisions now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I will tell you though, some of the things that help optimize the immune system, all right? You've got zinc. Zinc and copper both are used intimately by the processes that the immune system uses.
Mm-hmm.
Vitamin A, vitamin D, cholesterol, all of those are used intimately by the immune system to function optimally. Vitamin C
Mm-hmm.
also is another one. So a lot of people are saying, okay, I'm going to go high dose those things. Okay, well, while they are needed for the immune system to function well,
Mm-hmm.
when they're in the system in high doses, some viruses can actually use those materials to hijack the immune system and make it work in their favor.
Wow.
Okay, so this is why, okay, so let me give you an example of that. Vitamin A and vitamin D, always needed in the diet.
Mm-hmm.
Taking them regularly, getting them in regularly, immune system is going to do well. High dosing them with this particular virus, the way it gets into the cells is it docks into a receptor called the ACE2.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's more ACE2s, that virus docks, and then it can spread. It goes into the cell, replicates, and spreads. Vitamin A and vitamin D both upregulate ACE2 receptors. They make more of them.
Mm-hmm.
So if you high dose A and D right now, you're going to build more ACE2 receptors, which gives more docking sites to this virus.
Yeah.
Okay, now it doesn't mean you don't need A and D. You have to have them,
Mm-hmm.
but you need them at your normal physiological doses.
Right.
So that the immune system is just right where it needs to be,
Mm-hmm.
right where it needs to be, the right number of ACE2 receptors for optimal function, but not extra ones, so there's more docking sites for the virus.
Yeah.
Okay, so whole real food. You do need these in your diet regularly. So where are you going to get zinc, copper, garlic, vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin D? A and D are in your liver, So eating liver would be good. Cod liver oil is good.
Mm-hmm.
Zinc and copper, also in the liver, but brilliantly, 2 oysters a day give you the zinc and the copper that you need to function optimally. 2 oysters a day, it's minimal, really. Your vitamin C, if you want to high dose it at some point, which is now is not a good time to do that, you do have to take a supplement. But your vitamin C is going to come brilliantly from all of your peppers. So your all your bell peppers, your jalapeno peppers, poblano peppers, etc. Massive amounts of vitamin C that is actually bioavailable. One problem with supplementing all of these immune boosters is that not all supplements are absorbed either. So a bad part of the supplement industry is that the supplements that are more affordable, which is what most people get, aren't actually even absorbed by the body.
Right.
Or they're in a very bad form that's even a potentially toxic form.
Like gummies?
Oh, well,
What do you think about gummies?
well, depending on what's in the gummy. There's
Right.
actually some elderberry zinc gummies that
Okay.
when they have the right kind of zinc in them
Hmm.
are not bad. They're absorbed quite well, as long as there's not a bunch of sugar in your gummy. But
Yes.
and it's broader than just saying gummies are good or gummies are bad. It's always an it depends. So that's something else that I do in my office is as a functional nutritional therapist, I am trained in neurolingual testing. And this allows me to assess the body and determine the exact nutrient deficiencies that the body has,
Hmm.
and then test the supplement on the body or test the food on the body and make sure that the body is able to use that particular supplement.
Hmm.
And so, and I can test between brands as well. So I'll test like one brand of zinc and it'll have no effect on the person, but I'll test another one and it will.
Wow.
So something that people need to do is stop using Dr. Google to tell them, or whoever, Facebook MD, to tell them what supplements they need to take.
Hmm.
Instead, they need to find a practitioner that can actually assess their deficiencies
Hmm.
and then determine exactly what the supplement needs to be.
Hmm.
So I recommend right now for this virus is that stop eating your junk,
Yeah.
stop buying the things at the grocery store that are going to harm your immunity. So
Hmm.
all of those, all the bread, all the rice, all the potatoes, all the things that are non-perishable,
Yeah.
basically,
Which I
are
thought was
what.
funny, when you went to the store, it's like all the shelves of non-perishable foods are gone, but there's plenty of
Hmm.
fruits and vegetables. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
I don't understand. You people are so scared about this virus, yet you're harming your body more than anything right now. You are doing that to yourself, not the virus. So
yeah.
it's kind of funny. It's just like, man, and that's why people they need to hear what you have to say, and they need you. Like, they need people like you to help them in this situation because people just do not know.
Let me tell you. Okay, so let me combine the toilet paper issue with the biological health issue, and this may be TMI for some people, but um, when I ask my people every week, are you having a bowel movement every day?
Mhm.
Are you having a bowel movement twice a day, 3 times a day? And they better be telling me yes. If they're
Mhm.
not, we have to change something.
Yes.
Also, I have this chart on what it should look like.
Oh,
And
that's
if it
awesome.
doesn't, and if it doesn't look the way it's supposed to look, we alter their diet to make it do so.
Yep.
So this is an interesting thing. If you're eating optimally and you're having one or more bowel movements a day and they are in their proper form, there's hardly any residue left as it comes out,
Mhm.
which means then you need less toilet paper.
Right.
So
Exactly.
listen, if you want to clean up, if you want to use less toilet paper and not have to worry about that, let's clean up your
Right.
diet and we can fix all of that at one time.
Then you don't need the toilet paper as much.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we'll go a step further and we'll put a bidet in your home so that way you really don't need toilet paper. I'm like,
Yes, yeah.
I don't understand the toilet paper thing. I'm like, I really just don't get this.
No, that's a weird part of the human psychology.
Uh-huh.
So I
It
don't go
is.
there.
I agree. Yeah, definitely. So talk to us a little bit about like how often should we be exercising on a normal basis?
Okay, we have to define exercise. First of all, I don't use the word exercise. Exercise is a word that is a societal construct to
Mhm.
make money for gyms and personal trainers. Okay,
Mhm.
it's not a thing. Movement is a thing, and
Mhm.
humans move, and humans need to move all the time. We need to get up, get down, go here, go there, move, fidget all the time. Humans need to lift heavy objects regularly,
Mhm.
go fast occasionally and walk long and often. Okay, so we have kinds of two people on the spectrum. We've got couch potatoes that aren't doing anything, and then we've got exercise enthusiasts that are they're exercising 6 days a week, and they're going to spin class, and they're going to Orange Theory, and they're going to yoga, and they're going to CrossFit, they're going to Zumba class, etc. And because they're moving, because they're sweating, and because they're out of breath, they think they're doing something good for their bodies. And in reality, they're very likely causing a stress response that in the long term causes storage of belly fat, decreased mental focus and clarity, and prevents the body from actually having a good, healthy immune system. So what I shoot for is, and what I recommend, if you want to maintain your level of strength and muscle, 2 days of lifting heavy objects a week is good. If you want to improve, you go to 3 or 4 days of lifting heavy objects. And heavy is relative, because depending on your strength, heavy is going to be different. But I'm not talking about 10-pound dumbbells. I'm talking about heavy. Hardly anybody is going to consider a 10-pound dumbbell heavy.
Right.
Okay. So 2 to 4 days of lifting heavy objects is good. Then we've got our conditioning. And I use the word conditioning instead of cardio, because that's another word people have misused and don't understand. Conditioning can be done 2 or 3 times a week if it's done right. One of them needs to be short, very short, like 4 to 12 minutes of a high intensity interval. That's on one day, get it over with. One needs to be a high intensity, but lasting about 30 minutes. So this is something like where you're going hard and fast for 30 seconds to a minute, and then you do 3 or 4 minutes just very slowly. Do it 6 times, that's your half an hour. Then 3 to 5 days a week, do your walking. This is your low intensity steady state. This is where you walk. This is where you could get on a bike and just go on a bike steady state, not a treadmill, okay? Because treadmills actually don't use your muscles very well. All you have to do is pick up your foot, and all of a sudden you're moving forward because the belt moves you. So if we did 30 minutes, a couple of days a week of a low intensity steady state, we did 1 high intensity short and 1 high intensity long, that would be perfectly fine. And it hardly takes any time at all. People spend most of their time doing their cardio and hardly any time actually building any muscle. And the muscle that you build is what is going to optimize your immune system. It's what is going to optimize your strength, optimize your ability to lose fat, optimize your ability to regulate your blood sugar. So that's basically my thoughts on exercise.
Yeah, that's good. That's awesome. But I mean, it's definitely mostly nutrition, wouldn't you say, for health?
You cannot, for general health.
Yeah, just for general health.
The food has to be dialed in. The food you can get a long way in your health simply by dialing the food in. And eating, I was going to say eating clean, but I don't like that word either. Eating the right foods for your genetics, your lifestyle, and your goals. The food alone will take you a long way. Definitely. You have to add the right movement. You have to add stress management, and you have to add sleep, or you will never achieve your goals. They all work together. So once you get to a place where food can't take you any further, you've got to make sure the rest of these are dialed in as well.
Yeah, so I have one more question for you because you brought up sleep. So I want to talk about the importance of sleep because a lot of people kind of just put that on the back burner, and that's extremely important too. And how much sleep should we be getting? Because I know that that's kind of a something that people don't know either, or it's
Right, right.
misused, or the information's just not accurate.
So sleep is generally 7 to 9 hours. And I don't mean that sometimes you can get 7 and be okay, and sometimes you need 9. I'm talking about each person has their personal amount that they need.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's somewhere usually between 7 and 9 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be good uninterrupted sleep because you've got like two basic halves. In the first half, the first 4 hours of sleep basically is when your body repairs, and in the last 4 hours is when the brain repairs. So if you are not getting enough sleep, you're going to have deficiencies in your body function and in your mental function.
Mm-hmm.
So 7 to 9 hours is usually good. Each person has to figure out what that is for them.
Yeah.
And you've got to have good sleep hygiene, which means a good protocol going forward. That first hour going into getting ready for sleep.
Mm-hmm.
If you're finding yourself waking up in the middle of the night, it's usually either reproductive hormones that are off or blood sugar that is
Mm-hmm.
off. And so I help people all the time figure out which of those it is and help them optimize that. And then a lot of times people will have monkey mind. And with the monkey mind, that's where then actually our stress management helps, because I teach people to do mindfulness meditation, which is
Mm-hmm.
not where you clear your mind. It's
Mm-hmm.
where you teach your brain to focus on only one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And when the brain will learn to focus on only one thing, if you wake up in the middle of the night and your brain's like, you can focus
Yeah.
that one thing and you'll end up falling back asleep. And
Right.
also that mindfulness meditation helps you during the day too. When you've got 10,000 things on your plate and you get paralyzed because you have too much to do. If you've been
Right.
practicing mindfulness meditation,
Mm-hmm.
your brain will automatically go prioritize. This is number one, go with
Yep.
number one.
Exactly. That's so awesome. And I also think that a lot of people are like, okay, I'll get 5 hours tonight and then I'll take a nap later. And that's not good for you either, is, kind of what the new research is studying, that you really need like uninterrupted hours of sleep, 7 to 9 hours. So I think that's really interesting and something that, is important for people to know.
Yeah. It needs to be solid in
Mhm.
one chunk, whatever that amount is for you. Otherwise, you don't get body and brain recovery.
Right. So interesting. Just like,
Also, for people that are on Ambien and so forth, unconsciousness is not the same as sleep.
Yeah.
So just because you are unconscious laying in the bed does not mean that the body and the brain are doing the repair that they need to do. If you are
Right.
on one of those medications, you need to reach out to somebody that can help you optimize your health and then your sleep so that you can get off
Yeah.
those.
Exactly. Yeah, the dangers of medications are a little bit scary, and that it's an easy solution, but it's not a permanent one, and it doesn't fix the problem. Like you were saying, your problem's up here, but everybody's fixing it from down here.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, it's interesting. And I hope that some of the coronavirus stuff that we're going through right now, I hope that it kind of shifts people's mindset into living a more optimized life, because there's options out there, and like I said, we shouldn't be
Yeah.
living in fear from a virus. So
Yeah. Something that I've always been frustrated with this, and it's going to continue to be a problem, but I hope that people will learn to prioritize. And this is how you spend your money for your health. People are willing to pay money to doctors, and they're willing to pay money into their insurance that is going to give them a Band-Aid or support them as they die horribly in their old age.
Mm-hmm.
But they are unwilling to spend their money up front to optimize their health right now.
Mm-hmm.
And over the long term, the amount of money spent in total will be less. So people say, well, I don't have the money to buy beef and chicken and broccoli.
Right.
So I'm going to buy Cheetos and mac and cheese because it's more affordable.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, no. You're going to spend that money, but you're going to spend it while you're dying at your older age. You know, same thing goes for proper fitness coaching or just proper nutritional coaching. They're like, I can't afford that. Let's say somebody like you, I can't afford to maybe spend a little extra that you're going to ask people to spend to design their homes in a way that helps protect their health and optimize their health. And the thing is you're going to pay for it in the end.
Mm-hmm.
What happens 10 years down the road when you're in the hospital or you're having to have your house redone because it wasn't done properly to begin with and it's made you sick? You know,
right.
you're
Exactly.
going to spend that money, and just when are you going to spend it? And I want to spend my money on feeling my best all the time,
Mm-hmm.
not on playing around with fun foods and fun activities right now that society tells me are fun.
Right.
And then I spend the last 10 years of my life miserable and sick.
Mm-hmm.
So I am hoping that while we're in this whole virus thing, that people reevaluate what they have considered to be important in their lives.
Yeah.
And then we come out of it and go, all right, I do really want to look, feel, and perform my best. And I do not want to be this scared ever again for my health.
Yeah.
What do I need to do about it? Do I need to change my home? Do I need to change my cleaning products? Do I need to find a fitness coach that knows what the hell they're doing? And very few do. And do I need to find a nutrition coach that knows what they're doing and understands genetics and so forth? That's what I hope.
Me too. Me too. That's what I'm praying for. And I feel, I feel like we're kind of going through a shift in the world right now. And I think it'll be a positive shift. While there will be some turmoil, in it, I think coming out of it, people will start to get on board with some of these ideas, because there's very few and far between that believe this way and think about their life in a holistic way, and I think that's a solution to a lot of the problems that we have mentally, physically, emotionally, anything, so I hope that, good things come from this, and I know it will, even though we'll have to go through some bad things to get there, but I'm excited to see what's on the other side, and I really thank you for coming on. I know you and I can probably talk forever. So, but we do plan on doing some more videos, and we'll do a live hopefully soon. We'll figure all that out. That way people can ask questions and all that good stuff. But yeah, is there anything else that you want to leave with the audience and to take away? Or
I think I've probably said a lot and enough, but I can be reached at on the web at fullyfueledfitness.com. And on, Facebook is Kerry Thuett or Kerry Almeida Thuett. Also Facebook at Fully Fueled Fitness. Instagram at Kerry Thuett PhD and at Strength Diva as well. So you can find more information on me there. You can always give me a call, set up, just quick phone consultations to see if we're a good fit for each other. I'm not a fit for everybody. I am always willing to help people within who they are and what they want, but sometimes what they want or who they are is actually not conducive to optimal health. And I need to try to change that. So I don't fit with everybody. Yeah. But if you think that you would, fit with me, definitely reach out. We can have a quick phone call and touch base and, see what your goals are and where you need to be.
Yeah, that sounds great. I definitely
Good.
recommend people reach out to you. And I mean, I hope to do that, you know, for myself too. I think I emailed you about some chronic pain issues, and I'm like, okay, I've changed everything in my environment, so it must be some food that I'm eating that's triggering that response. So I definitely hope to work with you soon, and we'll schedule something, and we'll also
Good.
schedule our next live, and we'll work on the technical issues there. But yeah, thanks for all the information. It was highly valuable, and I hope you have a great day.
Awesome. You too. Thanks.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.